Publishing states 48I. Officer, if you need me to bring the photograph to you, that is fine. Do you recognize that as being consistent with a Glock 19 model?
Yes, it appears to be a Gen 4.
Okay. And is there something here on the grip that distinguishes that from a Generation 5?
Yes, so if you're looking at the grip, the side closest to the trigger guard, there are finger grooves along the grip. That is not on the Gen 5 or 6. That's only on the Gen 4. And then on the slide, there's no forward cocking serrations. There's only rear cocking serrations, which is not on the Gen 5 or 6.
And this round, does that appear to you to be a 9mm round?
It does.
You indicated earlier that the standard magazine for this firearm contains 15 rounds.
Yes, sir.
The magazine to the left of that, does that appear to be a standard stock Glock magazine for that weapon?
I mean, the image is a little blurry, but it does appear to be an OEM magazine.
Let me find a better image. States 48K. Do you see the Glock insignia at the bottom of the magazine?
Yes, sir.
Is this the Glock corporate logo?
Yes.
Okay. And it's actually the word Glock?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, does this appear to be a 17-round magazine?
Yes, sir.
So this would be the standard magazine for the Glock 17?
Yes, sir.
Now, is that longer or shorter than a 15-round magazine for a Glock 19?
Longer.
And will it fit into the magazine well of this Glock 19?
It will fit, but it will extend beyond the grip.
Okay. It would extend out a short distance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. .48J, do you also see a portion of the front of this firearm on the slide that also indicates to you this is a Gen 4?
Yes.
The Gen 5 has a rounded appearance?
Yes, has a chamfered edge.
.48O, do you now see markings on this firearm
Yes, sir.
that demonstrate what we were talking about earlier?
Yes, sir.
The GEN Gen 4?
Yes, sir.
And that 19 in front of that, is that the model number?
It is.
And is this the caliber?
Yes.
9x19, is that just another way of saying 9mm?
Yes.
Or another version of 9mm?
Another version of 9mm.
Representing
yes.
the same caliber?
Yes, sir.
I might need to bring this to you. Do you see this bag that appears to contain ammunition? Would you agree with me those are loaded rounds, live rounds?
I mean, it's a very grainy photo, but they do appear to be live rounds.
Okay. States 48V is in Victor. What is this item here?
It appears to be some sort of laser.
And now looking into that same bag at a little bit better definition, do you see loaded live rounds?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell what type they are?
They appear to be 5.56 or 2.23.
This item here, what is this?
That is an aluminum magazine.
Would that, in appearance, appear to be consistent with an AR-15 magazine.
Yes.
Okay. States 48W is in whiskey.
No.
I
it's
think
better
this is a
photo.
little better.
It's a
of an
300
image.
blackout.
I'm sorry?
Those appear to be 300 blackout.
Those are 300 blackout. Okay. Now, we'll just take this round here. What is it about that round that's telling you that's a 300 blackout?
The size of the projectile, the lack of taper at the crimp of the case.
Okay. And some of this other loose ammunition, does that appear to be, where I'm pointing,
Those look like pistol rounds.
9mm?
Possibly, yes.
.48Y, does that appear to be boxes of ammunition?
Yes.
Are you familiar with this company, Hornady?
Yes,
Is that an ammunition manufacturer?
it is.
And this would be Winchester brand,
Yes.
these white boxes? All right. So I'm going to show you states 48Z. And if you need me to turn this, do you see roll marks or head stamps that indicate the caliber of these rounds?
Yes.
What caliber are they?
300 blackout.
And you see the word blackout and behind it the number 300?
Yes, sir.
States 48DD. Do you recognize the brand of ammunition that's being shown here?
I do.
And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. I've always pronounced it Cellier Balot. Are you familiar with that company?
I am.
Is that an ammunition manufacturer?
Yes, sir.
In fact, they also make 9mm handgun ammunition.
They do.
And in this instance, what caliber is this?
300 blackout.
So 300 AAC blackout, is that the full technical or industry
It's
identification?
just one of the
for that?
names. It could also be referred to as 300
300
Whisper.
blackout. What does the FMJ stand for?
Full metal jacket.
And over here, we see a 147 GRS. What does that stand for?
That's the grain weight.
And the 9.55? Could that be the grain weight
The
of the
powder.
powder?
Yep.
Okay. Are those ammunition specifications that are commonly placed on ammunition boxes?
They are.
This is states 48EE. E is an echo. I may be turning this a little bit as we look at it, so just bear with me. I'm going to start with this white box here. So even though it's oriented in this way, I'm going to turn it so you can read it. Do you recognize the labeling on that box?
I do.
Do you recognize the item depicted on the box?
Yes, sir.
So this on the top, Magpul, do you know what that means or what it is?
Magpul, it's a firearms accessory manufacturer that typically makes polymer parts, magazines, and other accessories.
Do they also make, well, you said magazines. Do they make a standard magazine that's utilized for the AR-15?
As well as the Glock.
Okay. And this says hand stop kit. So what is a hand stop?
So a hand stop is typically for, you can use it on any length hand guard, but it's typically for shorter length hand guards to prevent a shooter who maybe has longer arms from reaching past the hand guard and maybe grabbing the muzzle, so when he fires he doesn't hurt himself. Or you could use it on a longer hand guard and just use it as a reference point for your hand.
Okay. And when you say a hand guard, that would be a component or a part of an AR-15 rifle?
Yes.
This box here to the right, do you recognize that box?
I do.
Okay. And do you recognize the writing up here?
I do.
What does that say?
Max Tech.
Now, you identified that earlier as one of the manufacturers of 9mm ammunition.
Yes.
Does this appear to be a box that would be consistent with holding 9mm ammunition?
Yes, sir.
Does this also appear to be a box of Max Tech ammunition?
Yes, sir.
States 48 double F as in Foxtrot. Now, does this appear to be some of those items spread out that we were just looking at?
Yes, some of them.
Do you see the hand stop over here, the mag pull box?
I do. Yes, sir.
And the 2 boxes of Max Tech ammunition?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to start with those in this exhibit. Anything about that changes your opinion that that is Max Tech ammunition?
No, sir.
All right. Now, let me go to this on the bottom left of the photograph, and in the center there are 3 items that are vertical to the photograph. What are these 4 items?
Those appear to be handgun magazines.
So I'm going to zoom in on the 2 to the left. First of all, have you previously seen this photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And did you recognize these 2 as being, at least those 2 as being Glock magazines?
Yes, those appear to be OEM magazines.
OEM meaning that's Glock manufactured magazines?
Yes.
Okay. And then this center magazine, does that appear to be a magazine for a Glock pistol?
It looks like it, but I can't say for sure.
What are these items?
Those are hand guards.
Okay. And what is that for?
That's to cover the barrel and the gas operating system of the rifle so you can fire it safely without burning your hand.
On the top of the photograph, we see a small black box. Does that appear to contain fired shell casings?
It does.
Would they be consistent with being 5.56 or 223 Remington?
Yes.
Below that, see this item here. Do you
Yeah.
recognize that item?
I do.
What is that?
That's a Vortex micro red dot.
Vortex, is that the company that produces that?
Vortex is a company, yes.
Okay. And does Vortex produce optics for handguns and rifles?
Yes.
And when I say optics, let me be more specific. Optic sights?
Yes.
I believe you said a red dot? Did
Yes,
you
sir.
say- Okay. Is that an electronic sight?
It is.
And is somewhere on that device, is there some kind of a battery that runs the electronic sight?
Yep, there should be a battery or a solar panel or something.
And then this item here, do you recognize that?
I do.
And what is that?
That appears to be another micro red dot.
States 48HH, the small black box at the top of the prior exhibit. Now looking at that, does that appear to contain 5.56 or 223 Remington shell casings?
Yes, sir.
That would be empty fired shell casings or empty casings.
Yes, sir.
48I is an India double I. If that is a casing from that box, would that indicate that the round was fired?
It would.
Well, let me go back. Is that due to this marking in the center of the shell casing, the head? What-
That's considered a primer strike. When you pull the trigger, hammer falls, hits a firing pin. The firing pin strikes the primer of the round, and that's what ignites the powder and fires the weapon.
And so it leaves this mark, the firing pin does?
Yes, sir.
And going back to the Max Tech ammunition, I think we have a better photo now. This is states 48, double L is in Lima. Now, looking at this, can you see the ammunition, the caliber of the ammunition?
Yes, sir.
And what is the caliber?
9mm.
And this writing here on the box, can you see it enough to tell me what all of that means walking across there?
115 is the grain weight of the projectile. It's a full metal jacket. Non-corrosive means they didn't use a corrosive lacquer on it to preserve the metal, so it won't damage your barrel when you fire it. Box primer is the type of primer that's used to ignite the powder, and brass case is the gold-looking casing that holds the projectile and the powder.
States 48, M is in Mike, double M. Does it appear one of the boxes is fully, has a full box of ammunition?
It appears so.
And there are some rounds missing from the other box?
Yes, sir.
States 48, double Q, as in Quebec. The item on the top, is that a Glock magazine?
Yes.
Does that appear to be a Generation 5 magazine, or can you tell?
That appears to be a Generation 5 magazine.
Is that based on this lip sticking out on the base plate?
And the orange follower at the top.
Okay. And then are those 9mm rounds below it?
It appears so.
Okay. Your Honor, the state would tender 52 A is in Alpha through N is in November.
Objection?
52 A through N, counsel.
No objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, reading previously litigated pre-trial motions.
Okay. Say please. Admitted?
Publishing states 52 A. Do you recognize this black container?
I do.
Have you ever seen containers like that before?
I have.
What is that container?
That's the container that a Glock pistol comes in when you purchase it.
States 52B. Is that the same container now opened?
Appears to be.
And does there appear to be a couple of magazines in the container?
Yes.
Does this label on the exterior of the box, does it have the model number?
Yes.
And is this the model number?
Yes.
Okay. And is that a model that is a 9mm Glock?
Yes.
Okay, chambered in 9mm.
Yes.
All right. And the FXD, does that refer to the sights on the pistol?
I do not know what FXD refers to. I know the 5.5 is referring to the weight for the trigger.
Okay. And is this the serial number?
Yes.
The 2 10-round, does that reference the magazines?
Yes, sir.
Is that the standard capacity for that gun?
Yes, sir.
States 52E is an Echo. Do you recognize that as also being a Glock box?
Yes, sir.
I know we're getting a lot of glare.